Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 187 for the week of something, December 8th, 2014. My name is Ryan Higgins, and wow, this feels like it's really low. There we go, that's better. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sicker.
And Charlie.
Light cast this week after our epic send-off of Omar last week, so we were all on here. So, big, the quiet amount of people on this week for what is the biggest amount of news we've had in months.
Yeah. Isn't this the murder episode? Isn't 187 like the code for murder?
Yeah, supposedly.
So one of us is going to die.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. Brock's been telling me that since I got here today, so...
There you go. We've got a bunch of...
Shave you under the table, right?
We got a bunch of random garbage to talk about here. So we're gonna power through some comic news, some big TV news. We got a few things to talk about here, but let's start with this one. Dark Knight returns. Very popular comic by Frank Miller. Dark Knight Strikes Back. Not the most popular comic by Frank Miller.
Nope.
Rumor of a third Dark Knight comic by Scott Snyder and Frank Miller. Co-written by the pair and probably not drawn by Frank Miller.
Thank God.
This is not announced. This is something off Bleeding Cool this past week. So, again, total rumor. Who knows? During the week, a few names were thrown around as artists for the series. Jim Lee, Greg Capullo, Sean Murphy, and Andy Kubert. Maybe Sean Murphy's a surprise, but no surprise there. Obviously, they're going to want their big guns on this book if it happens. So... as great as Dark Knight is, as terrible... Well, I don't hate Dark Knight Strikes Back? Strikes Back,
yeah,
Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I've read it once, and I thought it was pretty bad, but it's like not the worst comic I've ever read. But I don't want Frank Miller to ever draw anything again. I do not like his art. His
art's faded over the years.
Oh, real bad. And the story's, like, not good, but people... like now love it. They hated it when it came out, but now they love it. I just still hate it. So
I bought it. I bought the trade, read it once, was like, and I don't really have any urge to go back and read it.
Well, the rumor is that it's about the Carrie Kelly Robin in the future. So when she's older, like Robin returns, basically.
Isn't that like the Dark Lady?
Sure.
Plus, she was on Teen Titans Go this last week.
Oh
nice.
Yeah. They had like all the Robins on it,
yes.
right? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see the episode yet, but yeah.
I'll have to see if it's on demand.
Yeah, probably is.
And with Carrie Kelly rumored as being in Dawn of Justice, a lot of people wonder if maybe... Oh, yeah, Dark Knight Strikes Back, yeah. A lot of people wonder if this maybe is... kind of a reaction to that of like,
Oh, I completely, when I read this, I'm like, so they want something new on the shelves to push when Dawn of Justice.
Right, exactly.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And it'll sell great because people will still buy it. I'll buy it.
Because it's the cost Snyder.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Snyder and Batman, not the Miller and Batman part.
But now my Dark Knight Absolute will be incomplete.
We'll have to release a new volume.
Yeah.
And also, Batman related, Marc Silvestri rumored to come over and be doing some work for DC, who he basically has been doing his own Top Cow stuff for a long time, which,
it's his art has...
Same thing. It's not what it was, but...
It's gone real sketchy. It's the inking on it is bleh.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you would ask me pre-Batman, when I saw Greg Capullo was going to draw Batman, I was like, that Spawn guy? All right, whatever. And they're like, no, wow, holy shit. He has changed his style up. It looks great.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it'll depend on who inks him and what effort he's putting into the book. So, we'll see.
I actually really like the art in Detective right now, the Manipul art in Detective.
Yeah.
Like he drew the Mad Hatter in this recent issue, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a good looking Mad Hatter.
Yeah, they've. I was worried because Manipul was doing Flash, and it was kind of just light, had lightish tones to it, and it wasn't as dark. I think after the first story arc, they improved, and it's gotten dark enough so that I'm like, ooh, this is really good. The Mad Hatter looks crazy in this last issue.
Yeah.
And then Skyver was drawing Sinestro, which shocked me and also made me very happy all at the same time.
Yeah, Silvestri, I'm not a big Top Cow guy, so by the time Silvestri and all these guys were coming around, I never read any of that stuff. So, I mean, I'm aware of the guy's art, obviously, and I've seen him on, he did Darkness? Did he do a bunch of Darkness?
He did Darkness, he did Cyberforce.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've the later stuff.
He came out with, like, Uncanny X-Men and stuff like that. Like, he was part of that whole group.
So, I'm definitely curious. She's obviously a big name artist, and
that's for Batman, or is that for a Bat book?
A Bat book.
Okay.
Yeah. So there has been a lot of talk. We mentioned this a few weeks ago about how DC is really trying to change up. Get away from a lot of the New 52 books they publish, and really just try to leave a lot of the books to the creators to do whatever they want, and to see what happens. Because obviously the New 52 books, some are doing fantastic, but a lot of them are just kind of circling the drain. So, if they're getting some people to come over and do whatever the hell they want, again, more power to them. That totally works for me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what a guy like Silvestri is going to bring to the table. So, because we had like the David Fincher Dark Knight, and that book just it was his third wheel to Batman the Detective, and it never. I mean,
Dark Knight, the New 52 Dark Knight was okay. I mean, it was
never. It just felt like random stories. They didn't.
Well,
there was no
it was much more
to it.
Villain centric in it, and it
Sure.
did a very good job of sort of paving the way to give each of the villains a new backstory within the New 52.
Yeah.
So I thought it had a very concrete purpose when they first started it within the New 52, and
it wasn't bad. I mean, it was a fair read. I enjoyed it for what it was.
I liked it too. I just
So next. What do we got next?
Other big comic news story from this past week was Star Wars #1, the upcoming book from Marvel, coming out in January. The return of Star Wars to Marvel Comics is being reported as selling over 1 million copies. That includes the roughly somewhere in like the 46 variants range, because there's
you ran through them with me earlier.
I think there's 15 variants coming available to any store. I think it was 15, 16, something like that. And I want to say I had heard a number of like 30 stores participating in the variant program, which means you have to order a minimum of 3,000 copies. So 30 stores at 3,000 copies. I mean, that's a lot, but that's not 1 million copies. So where do these 1 million copies come from? Because I've talked to other store owners, and no one's ordering, their variants are tiered all the way up to 100 copies.
Are we just going to say Loot Crate now?
Well, right, we're going to get to that. All right. They have a bunch of variants up to 100. Then they have a 1 in 200 sketch cover, and then a 1 in 500 Joe Quesada sketch cover. So they have high-tier variants. And again, there's no doubt in my mind that certain stores are ordering 500 or 1,000 copies to get these really high-end sketch variants. But again, nothing that's going to put it at 500,000, let alone 1 million. Mm-hmm. Step in Loot Crate. Yeah. We've already seen them with Rocket Raccoon order something like 170,000 copies.
Well, what was Walking Dead?
Walking Dead was 250 million, or 250,000, I believe. So I could see them easily clearing 500,000 between various big box stores, between Hastings with.
Don't forget the Disney store. I'm sure the Disney store will have its own variant.
Exactly. It pushed to something like the Disney store, and then comic stores. Mm-hmm. So I would guess comic stores will order 250,000 copies, which is huge, right? Yeah. But maybe 300,000. It's still going to be one of the biggest comics ordered through the comic industry, through the traditional comic stores in years, right? Mm-hmm. However, at over 1 million, if this is accurate, this makes it the biggest selling comic since the early 90s.
Yeah.
So this is obviously huge for Marvel and Jason Aaron and John Cassaday. I mean, congrats to them if Marvel and Disney are going all in and really pushing this book out to people. My concern comes from, if people are grabbing it at the Disney store and Loot Crates, or anyone going to come into comic stores and buy them, hopefully we have a lot of copies and a lot of variants coming, so I hope people want them.
Well, I think the smart thing is again, like Charlie said, do the Disney store cover. The Disney store gets one cover, Loot Crate gets another cover. So it's like these people are exposed to it, they're getting a copy of it, but,
Well, Well, so real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, but Comic Book Resources says Amazing Spider-Man #1 hit 500,000 copies with about 50 different variant covers, and I know about 35 of those or so were store variants. So Star Wars, this is 13 solicited variants. There's more than that. There's about 16 or 17 because I just had to do the final order today, plus store-specific variants. So yeah, I could actually, man, maybe there really is like 100 stores ordering. That's 300,000 copies, right?
How many are you ordering?
Total?
Yeah.
200 probably between all the variants, which is going to put it at one of our biggest comics. That puts it, I mean, it's not as high as Uncanny Avengers. Well, hold on. I got a story. It's not as high as Uncanny Avengers #1. It's not as high as a few of the New 52 #1s. But Marvel came out today. David Gabriel, my best friend at Marvel, who's like the retailer rep there. If you've heard other episodes of this podcast where I mention this guy, you'll know he's no one's friend. According to him, he came out on one of the retailer forums when retailers asked about doing a midnight sale or like a Tuesday night sale, like 6 p.m., 8 p.m. or something like that after hours. And they said, no, which is stupid. Like, why the hell wouldn't they do a night sale for this, a Tuesday night sale for this? But also he said that it was because it wasn't fair to roughly 1/3 of the comic industry, to accounts, to wholesale accounts. The understanding of this means 1/3 of comic stores do not get their books delivered on Tuesdays, which is what any store with a quarter of a brain does. Which means 1/3 of the comic stores in the country still get their books delivered Wednesday morning, the day they're on sale. I find that either incredibly hard to believe or incredibly stupid.
I think it's the incredibly stupid.
Now, it could be that this was meaning, Hastings and Loot Crate don't get a Tuesday night sale, and they're 1/3 of the comic industry. I mean, that very well could be what that response was to.
Loot Crate is already sold. Like, all the ones that go into Loot Crates are already sold.
Right, but there could maybe that Loot Crate's going to go out that day on Wednesday. But
either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, the people are going to get the package when they get the package. Right. That could be before comic stores open. That could be after comic stores open.
I mean, I don't know when it's going out. And we don't even know that there's a Loot Crate for it. You know there's a Loot Crate for it, but we don't know that there's a Loot Crate for it. But yeah, this is... So I will take it at the word that 1/3 of comic stores in the country don't pay the $48 a year to receive books on Tuesdays.
See, I
would pay 10 times. I would pay 50 times that.
Hold on. This is
to get books on Tuesdays.
This is your retailer education segment.
This is.
Cut your orders on the garbage books that you're ordering, and one week. Cut the garbage books off, right? Like, skim it down to just what you need to order.
Don't order 3 trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
And you can pay to have books on Tuesdays for an entire
year. That's all you have to pay for an entire year.
Crazy.
That's it?
Wait, what did I say it was?
$48 a week?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
$48 a year?
I'm sorry. I actually miscounted that. It is more than that, but it is not dramatically more than that. It's like $150 a year. Sorry.
Wait,
it's like $150.
Wait, that's like $10 a month.
It is.
$12 a month.
It's $4 a week.
That's it?
Yeah.
$4 a week, so you can get it a day early.
Yeah.
Really?
So don't order two shitty comics a week.
Don't order those 2 shitty Grim Fairy Tales books that don't sell off the shelf.
Yeah. So what's that? $208?
See, I always wonder, just based in coming from the Bay Area and living here as long as I have, there's like, it doesn't even really occur to me not going down to Best Buy to buy the thing that comes out on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Like, I always go on Tuesday. I always come to the comic shop and pick up my books right away. I've always kind of naturally assumed that the sort of urgency I feel within the Bay Area, especially with how quickly things sell out and stuff, may not be the case other places. I'd be curious to hear some feedback on that. Like, what do comic shops outside of the Bay Area sort of see in terms if their sales are more level throughout the week, or is it just as slanted as it is here? Because
I mean, there are definitely stores that have a leading towards the weekend, and I know this. I've talked to stores that said, "Oh yeah, Wednesday's okay," but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday is when we make most of our business. But that may not even be on new books. That may just be on casual books, right, and everything else.
That's a large part of what I'm just curious about. I mean, I just kind of feel like my perspective from here, a lot of it is, yes, if you don't have your books ready to go when you open on Wednesday morning, meaning you really need them on Tuesday, people just go to another shop a block away. I mean, that's the reality we live in. Is there's
Well, it's also, I mean, you have to look at it like around here, people plan like you plan. It's Tuesday, I'm going to be at Best Buy. It's Wednesday, I'm going to be at the comic store. Like you have it already ingrained in like your schedule and stuff. Whereas people in the Midwest, necessarily they might live, 20, 30, 40 miles from their local comic book store.
Sure.
And driving an hour in the middle of the week is not conducive for them. So they just go pick up their books on a Friday evening or a Saturday or a Sunday, because that's when they go pick up their books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess all I'm saying is I could technically believe that a third of the industry may be in areas where it's just not
There's no
as
rush.
die-hard
Yeah.
necessary reason to do it.
But what I don't understand is why don't you get it on a Tuesday? That way you can process it. That way it's all taken care of and done.
I'd shut the store down if we had to get books Wednesdays.
Oh, I know you
I'd
would.
shut the store down. I couldn't deal with it. I'd be like, nope, sorry,
Well,
can't deal with it.
but
Nope.
and this is sort of the other side of it to me. We all know the cost to keep the store open is a lot larger here than it would be in other places where there could be shops. Meaning, if there isn't a constant customer flow, like, yes, if you got the books Wednesday morning, you would not open until they were processed. And I get that because there's no way you could open the door.
Which would be at night. If you've seen a Tuesday, I work ass in the morning till we close, getting ready for Wednesday.
But I'm just saying, I don't know.
It's impossible.
I don't know what size shipment stores in the Midwest get or what size, like, who knows?
Yeah, true. There's another comment here in the Comic Book Resources article that says other possible distribution channels may include Marvel's parent company, Disney, which is holding its Star Wars run and Disney Half Marathon on January 18th, 4 days after the issues are released. Distribution through Disney Parks is also a possibility, given the Star Wars-themed attraction and gift shops that are already in place in many Disney locations. So, like what Charlie was saying, Disney stores, the Disney Half Marathon, so very likely that this book is going to be in a lot of places. And I'm excited. I mean, I was not a big follower of the Dark Horse Star Wars. I know nothing against them. To me, I think their mentality of endless miniseries and all sorts of different timelines, it was just tough to follow. And they had some big creative teams from time to time, but it was just kind of all over the map. And I just didn't follow it along.
They didn't make it really kind of easy to kind of...
They would change names in the middle of runs. And now, God knows Marvel does dumb shit like this, too. So hopefully there's, just fucking Star Wars. I mean, I know they're going to have, Vader and Leia
if they
and
do
other
it
characters.
if they do it like Dark Horse originally did Star Wars, where it was, this is the issue number, but right underneath it, this is the number of the story arc you're
No, they
on.
didn't do that for a long time.
Huh?
They did not do that at the start. They did
that.
They did a little while into it, but then they switched that out to just other series. So I never liked that.
I think on a main title like Star Wars, I think that works perfectly.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, hey, this is the beginning of a story. You can read it, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, going through and being like take Detective, for instance. 35 was part one of Terminal, and it was a 2-part story arc. So you could kind of be like, oh, Detective, let me check out this Terminal story, right? You didn't even need to care it was issue 35. You could just say, oh, this is the start of a story. Let me start there.
Right. I mean, every comic does that, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll... I don't think we'll see Star Wars #1 in a year. I mean, I think they're going to keep the main series going for a while. So, I mean, we'll get new stuff for the new movies and new characters and everything, but stuff like Leia and Vader. Vader's supposed to be ongoing. Leia's a mini, but they're going to have a rotating series, a mini-series. So.
All right, next.
All right, next we're going to move... We're going to get another TV conspiracy or movie conspiracy here, because a lot of big TV movie stuff this past week. Mm-hmm. And of course, as usual, huge news right after we finish recording Tuesday morning, or Tuesday afternoon, I think. Variety broke the story of the official cast of the Suicide Squad film. Mm-hmm. Some rumors confirmed, others what the fuck, out of left field. We talked about this a lot in the Geek Box, so if you go back to last week's episode, you heard me talk about this, but We'll talk about it here some more.
The more important people are you're going to listen to.
There you go. Yeah. Jared Leto will be playing the Joker, which
I think it's a good fit.
The Joker in a Suicide Squad movie, that's a strange one. I mean...
That shocks me most, just because you get into this very sort of proprietary idea behind sort of the Batman villains and Bruce Wayne and all that, and how...
Do you think it's just he's going to be in 5 minutes of the movie as a tease?
Only if it's going to be the tease for the next Batman movie.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if the Suicide Squad movie actually pans out as something, it could just be he's playing Joker for the Harley character that's in there as kind of, if there's backstory on her, which then would tie into...
Just in a flashback or something?
Yeah, which would then tie into him being in the next Batman movie.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, it's kind of a, it's the cameo, it could be a long cameo.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's very possible that he's a big part of the movie, just that maybe doesn't go out with them, but maybe he's totally just part of the team, which would be kind of weird. But
or maybe he'll just be in Harley's head the entire movie.
Yeah. It's possible.
I think their best bet is to tease the shit out of the Joker with this movie. Like, have him in flashbacks, have him possibly pop up in, like, present time while the movie's going on or something.
Yeah.
But not actually tied into the team. Just have him as a thread that ties to the Batman universe.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Harley's a thread, it's when Harley's in the Suicide Squad, she's kind of separated from that universe.
Speaking of Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, who, if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, was the wife in Wolf of Wall Street, the blonde lady, which I actually saw last weekend for the first time. It was a great movie. So she did crazy kind of Jersey accent in that, so I'm sure we'll get something kind of similar for a Squad.
Oh God, Harley Quinn in a Jersey accent?
Well, that accent, that East Coast New York accent, New York Jersey accent. So
she just has to hit that high note, right? Mr. J.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously. I doubt they're going to have a direct version of that accent, but something similar.
She has to have something similar. I mean,
I would think so.
It's just part of the character. I mean, she kind of talks normal before she goes completely crazy.
Yeah.
So I think she just you need that transformation.
I would be disappointed if she doesn't have some sort of odder voice. If they just play her really straight voice, that'd be kind of weird. But.
Especially with the Joker in this movie. If we don't get the classic Mr. J line and all that, there'll be riots.
Puddin'. Tom Hardy is Rick Flag, and awesome that they're putting Rick Flag in this movie. Early reports said Rick
awesome
Flag,
that we're actually going to see Tom Hardy's face.
Bane, for people that don't know, he's in Bronson. He was in Star Trek Nemesis. If you saw that piece of shit. I love Star Trek, but that was a bad movie. Tom Hardy's awesome. He's super great, and Rick Flag.
As long as Rick Flag's not.
So Rick Flag is, kind of the one good guy on the team, really. He's ex-military. And, obviously in the comics. Well, I don't know what they're going to do in the movie.
He's the original Steve Trevor. Where Steve Trevor is now in the New 52, he's the original person in that spot.
Sure. Close enough, yeah. Will Smith as Deadshot. This is kind of the one that I think people were like, what?
Okay. At first I was like, no, what the fuck are you doing? This is dumb. And then I was online and I was at Google and I looked up pictures of him I did an image search, right? What the fuck? Why are they doing? Surprisingly enough, with his mustache, he's pretty much was it Lawton?
Yeah.
He's
pretty much Lawton, just a little bit darker.
Well, my take on it just has to do with the fact that everything that comic book movies have been doing for a while now have been about establishing franchises and being able to support said franchises. So I'm curious how many movies they signed him up for, because he's not a cheap actor to get in the first place.
So there's two things with this. My initial thought was, he's in one movie and he dies halfway through, right?
Yeah.
But then I thought, they don't want to kill Deadshot. He's part of the Squad.
Deadshot's one of the
Talking with Ryan Scott and talking with some other people about this, have you seen what Will Smith has done in the last decade? A bunch of nothings.
Yeah. I mean, he did I Am Legend. He did
that was kind of his last big thing. He did
that one with his son.
A lot of shit ever since. Yeah. This could be, he's getting a little bit older. This could be him like, nope, I want to attach myself to some super huge franchise, and I'll be cheap, but I'll be in 6 movies, right?
Yeah.
So
it's his new Men in Black.
Yeah, very well. So this very well could be exactly that. So he may be around. He may be around for a while.
I'm telling you, though, that mustache, dead on. Dead.
Yeah.
I hope they have a good contract lined up so it's not a one-and-done deal.
And it's possible enough that he's got his face covered through 9/10 of the movie. So he's not actually... He does a lot of voiceover. He's not actually in a lot of the scenes himself. So the next person we have on here is Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, although he's being referred to here as Boomerang. I have no idea who this guy is. He was in Spartacus. He was in Jack Reacher. He was in I, Frankenstein. He's in Terminator Genesis. Apparently, they made things past Terminator 2. I never heard of any of them, but
well, the new Terminator movie has Matt Smith in it, randomly enough.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yes, very much so.
About a little bit of Ryan's interest is peaked now.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I have not seen anything since Terminator 2. I never
You didn't see Rise of the Machines?
I didn't see any. I didn't see Terminator 3 or 4. I didn't see the stupid TV show. I didn't see anything.
I like the TV show.
So, yeah, I mean,
I never got a chance to watch
no idea.
it.
I'm sure.
I've heard good things about it, though.
I'm sure he's fine. And then as Enchantress, kind of another surprising...
Yeah, that's the one that caught me completely off guard.
She's a big magic character and everything. Feels very different than the rest of the characters they have in this. Is an actress named Cara Delevingne, I believe, something like that. She was in a bunch of nothing. What else was she in? Oh, no, she actually was in something big. She was in Anna Karenina. And she's in Pan, which comes out next year. So, kind of actress, someone that's coming up in the world.
No, they didn't mention any Amanda Waller.
Well, they did.
Oh, they did? Okay.
So
I haven't heard any of that.
There has been a couple names thrown around for Amanda Waller. Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer. I'm not familiar with either of them. But their number one choice, this comes direct from Warner Brothers, is Oprah Winfrey. Which, of all the casting, I was like, that's really weird. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that's actually really genius. Because people forget, Oprah Winfrey, she was like a comedian, she was an actor. Mm-hmm. This whole thing,
humanitarian Oprah Winfrey show, that's...
This is, I don't want to say new, obviously, she's been doing this for like 25 years or something like that, but this is a kind of a different thing that she did. So, with that being over, with her...
I mean, are we going to get the straight-up cut with
her just being involved in other stuff and not actually doing, there's like the Oprah Channel and all that, but I don't know that she's involved in any day-to-day operations as far as the show goes. Maybe she wants to do some acting. And to me, the genius thing about that is you open this movie to... Let's be honest, a gigantic audience that in another world would never see this movie. There's going to be a lot.
That's going to be really awkward.
If Oprah returns to acting as in a major motion picture, that is going to bring a whole lot of 30 and 40-year-old housewives to a fucking Suicide Squad movie.
Those movie theaters are going to be weird as shit.
I don't know if they're going to like it or get it, but because that is not, but Oprah, her book club thing sells millions of copies of books whenever she recommends it. I mean, this could be in DC's mind.
Do you know what that means? She might recommend Suicide Squad Volume 1 on her book club.
I'm sure she
Why
wouldn't.
did this trade paperback sell 1 million copies?
I'm sure she wouldn't, but that would be pretty amazing. My only concern with something like Will Smith and Oprah is they're almost bigger than the characters. It's tough. It's kind of like if you cast I don't know, like Matt Damon, or if you cast Ben Affleck, to a degree, right? A lot of these guys are very big actors. That
nobody's bigger than Batman.
But maybe, right? Maybe we don't know. We don't know. I mean, you look what happened to Michael Keaton and all the guys. They were in the first Batman movies. They were very big actors, but they were able to kind of be Batman and do their own thing. And it wasn't, I don't feel that any of them were bad. Not even Clooney. Clooney was fine. The movie was bad, but he was fine with what he had. All right.
Clooney filled the suit fine, and he played Bruce fine.
Yeah. So but I think Oprah is on a level. Oprah is on a level bigger than any actor in Hollywood.
I agree with you. Oprah is. Let's just go there. Oprah essentially has a cult of people who will follow her to whatever she does.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've talked about movie theaters. All right, if Oprah's in this movie, imagine Comic-Con. If Oprah's and she goes to a panel at Comic-Con.
I'd be nuts.
Like half of the audience is like, people dressed up in comic book attire or cosplaying, and then the other half is like
cosplayed as Amanda Waller.
Yeah. The rest of them were like just housewives that look like Amanda Waller.
All right.
No Whoopi Goldberg mention?
I actually totally thought that would be a great idea because she's always done acting, and she's a little bit older, and I think she would totally fit the part too. I think Whoopi would be great.
She has that vicious streak that she could bring out a lot more.
She can. Before we move on, though, we have a bunch of Patreon people to thank because it was a new month, and last week was a little bit screwy. So I had to wait till everything went through. I want to make sure that we had everyone here to thank. So I'm gonna do these. We have some one-time thanks for December. So I'm gonna thank these guys, and then we're gonna go on and talk about the rest of the stuff we have to talk about because there's still a whole shitload of stuff to talk about. Can't talk about Squad forever. There'll be a lot more casting news for that. But Edgar Moreno, Alex, Kevin Nguyen, Matt Ballard, Scott Zanow, Gabriel, David Sfar, Brandon Myers, and Christopher Noyes. Thank you all for backing us on Patreon. And we have some higher tier backers here. We have Ryan Hess, and he has the Region Free Gaming podcast. Go listen to that at rfgpodcast.wordpress.com. Albert Soy. Albert, you're still got to hit me up, man. You're supposed to give me some stuff to plug for you. I know. We've talked about it, so you got to send me some stuff.
Albert Soy?
Yeah.
AlbertSoy.com. Go visit.
Nah. Maybe it's the site. I don't know. Same with Mike Campbell. Niall Thomas, always. And he sent me an email here, and so let me read him because he's got a question for me. I got it here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Oh, okay. Well, he's actually going to talk about... His question is exactly what we're going to talk about next, so this is perfect timing. He says, I'm home not too late with my question. So we have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Opinions? My first reaction was a long sigh. And that's a perfect, a completely unintentional, perfect segue into our next topic to talk about, which was Benedict Cumberbatch is playing Doctor Strange. And I think that's perfect. That is maybe not quite Patrick Stewart as Professor X perfect, but I think that's perfect. If you don't like Benedict Cumberbatch, I understand maybe you don't think this is good, but that is a rare case where I was like, yep, nope, internet, you nailed it. That is actually really perfect casting. So occasionally the internet gets it. This is a case where they got it. So
yeah.
No, I mean I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean most people know him as that Sherlock type,
sure.
or Khan.
Well, yeah,
it's
if you look him up on IMDb right now, he's probably got like 6 or 7 things in development.
Yeah,
I mean, he's become the sort of...
He's a very hot item.
Yes, he's a very hot item in Hollywood right now.
Yep. Well, he's I don't want to say weird looking, but he's not like a traditional looking guy, which makes for a lot of cool characters.
Plus, he has fun photobombing.
And he's an awesome voice. His voice is perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to get by the Harry host of Hoggith, but...
We better.
But we're going to get something... I think he can... If anyone can pull it off... If you're going to talk like that, you have to have a British accent.
Yes.
That's the only way it works. Despite Doctor Strange being American, I am totally fine with the British Doctor Strange. So, totally fine. So, there you go. Doctor Strange is being played by Benedict Cumberbatch. And obviously, I mean, we're going to see so much stuff in the next few months. Avengers is coming up. They said the next Star Wars trailer is going to be during Avengers.
Nice.
So, that obviously is going to be...
You mean an actual trailer?
Yeah, a real trailer. We're going to get a ton of stuff for Ant-Man pretty soon. I'm sure we're going to see more Star Wars stuff because it's going to be like a Star Wars movie every year. All the Marvel movies are going to start coming out with like official pictures and casting and more casting because we've had Doctor Strange, we've had Black Panther, a couple of big guys. I'm sure Inhuman and Captain Marvel will find out soon enough. DC, I mean, with Squad, we're just going to, we should see a Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice teaser soon. Yeah. It comes out in a year, so
it might be attached to Hobbit.
No, it's year and a bit. It's
got to be a year and a half.
It's like March 2016 or something like that. I remember the date off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a year and a bit.
They might tease it for the Hobbit.
That was the rumor, but I haven't heard anything since.
Or the other one will be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, could be. We'll get it March, April. We'll get it a year at a time. We'll get something. So, God, there's going to be so much stuff coming up soon.
And you're just going to have to pause the stuff on TV long enough to go to the movie theater.
Speaking of TV, we've got to talk about Flaro. But before we talk about Flaro, let's talk about some new stuff, because we have a lot of TV stuff to talk about here, too. Earlier today, they announced Mark Hamill's going to play the Trickster on Flash. That is so great.
I am overjoyed about this one.
Yes. So
I was reading that news going, man, I got to Amazon. How much is that Flash series now? Is it on Netflix, though?
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but it's been cheap a ton of times.
It's like $20.83 today. I was like almost tempted to buy it.
And I remember how excited I was when he reprised the voice of the Trickster for Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And now...
So what I read was that he is actually going to... So for people that don't know, back in the 1990 Flash TV show... 1990.
The father on the current show.
Right. Yeah. So the father of Barry in the show now is played by an actor named John Wesley Shipp. He was Barry back in the 1990 Flash live-action TV show. And it appears that Mark Hamill, at least from something I read, I think it was on HitFix, Mark Hamill is going to play, I don't know if it's the father of a new Trickster or if it's he's like a copycat or something.
It's he's going to play the original Trickster who's in jail with Jonathan Wesley Shipp.
Right.
And they're going to go to him to help catch the new knockoff Trickster.
Right. So we don't know what the connection of the new... So there in the comics, there is another Trickster. There's a kid.
A younger one,
Yes, but James Jesse, the original Trickster, is... James Jesse? Yeah, I think that's James Jesse. Yeah. He... Just James, no relation. He is the Mark Hamill Trickster, or the Trickster that Mark Hamill played. So
no, I think it's Flash has done that great job where the dad was the Flash, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like it.
Well, it's yes, you have the dad was the Flash, but it amuses me that this is the second.
I mean, he wasn't the Flash.
Not in the show, but he played the Flash in the previous show,
right?
But everybody else they've announced coming from that show is now pretty much playing the same characters because the scientist lady's coming in as...
I can't remember her name, but she was like the love interest, the female lead in the Flash TV show, and she played one of the scientists at Star Labs.
She's playing the same scientist in an upcoming episode, and now you have Mark Hamill, brilliant.
We should talk about Flaro here because this is the Flash Arrow two-part with two kind of individual episodes, but they were the crossover.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were so individual. With the way they were advertising and everything, I expected it to be big cliffhanger going into the next.
I actually really enjoyed that they were that way because then it's not like if you're watching Flash but not Arrow, you have to go watch Arrow.
But everybody did.
Yeah. But it's like they didn't force you to do it. Like sometimes when TV shows cross over, they make you watch it.
Yeah, we're going to talk some spoilers here for the Flash and Arrow crossover. Still some other new stuff to talk about, but we'll talk about this first. But the thing that was so surprising to me, although they've said it, and whole seasons of both shows have been like this, so I don't know why I'm still so surprised. But man, no pun intended, they are not slowing down. They are just every episode giving us a new character. And I don't know if it's just we're afraid we're going to get canceled or if it's we don't want to dick around. We just want constant awesome shit.
Last I saw, and this amused the crap out of me at the time, when they were talking about why they decided to give Arrow the pacing it had, is because they said audiences do not have the patience for another Lost.
Well, I think it's anything. I think it's Lost or Smallville or any of these shows where you're like, every couple of weeks we're going to give you one thing. And it's like, no, we're just going to go boom, 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 big character, big character. I mean, in this we had Rainbow Raider, obviously in the first part, which is, a ridiculous character, but they pulled off a good version of him.
Yeah.
And totally connected it to the Green Lanterns. Totally, he was out there with the red rage from the Red Lanterns. They even said like, oh, the light. It was something about the light being part of like the light emotions, the electric spectrum.
What they do to shut it off is just like all the colors are just bombarding him.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. So.
Yeah. Rainbow Raider's a really dumb dumb character, but they've done some cool stuff with him. And initially in Blackest Night, they had him kind of freaking out because he was getting hit with all the different colors of the spectrum because he's he's timed into that. So they've teased Green Lantern.
It weirded me out that they did not show his actual capture though.
Oh yeah, well, so Flash and Arrow were like, all right, cool.
Let's go get him.
Flash got corrupted by Roy G. Bigelow, also in the comics known as a Rainbow Raider, who's a character who's just like, rainbow. He's a dumb character. But in this show, they actually have him like, his eyes flash red, and he kind of infects people and they get angry. Now, if you extrapolate this out, he probably can flash the other colors of the spectrum, whether it's indigo or violet or red or yellow, and induce fear, induce love. So I'm assuming that's where they were going with that. Even if they never bring him back or do anything with him again, I'm assuming that was on purpose. That this was not a mistake. But he corrupts the Flash, and so Flash and Arrow have some little fight, and it was fun. I mean, obviously. The Flash is kind of distracted, so he's doing stuff, but he's not at full peak, and so Arrow's able to kind of take him down, and then both who is it? It's the scientist guy, and who else comes with him?
The cop dad.
Oh yeah, the dad. Yeah, Barry's dad. Yeah, and they or not dad, Barry's
cop dad.
Yeah.
His adopted
father. Yeah.
Guardian,
legal guardian, comes in and saves him. But then they're like, all right, let's go catch the bad guy. And then it comes back to a commercial and they caught him. But that's great. Right? Like, that's funny. Like, I like that. I don't know. That was okay. I like that. I thought that was fine. So I thought, like, did I stroke out or something? Did I miss? Like, did I fall asleep and miss something? And I went back. And I was like, no, they just got the guy off camera.
Well, that's cool. Because it's not. It wasn't about that. It was about them.
It was about them fighting.
Yeah. But I loved Diggle's reaction. The first time
he's like, what the fuck is this?
He's just like arms crossed, like. Fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And he literally goes, "That doesn't bother you?"
Yeah, that was really funny.
You're fast.
Yeah, a really good job with that.
That was hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was very funny. But then, so the second episode was...
Well, no. We're forgetting something.
Oh, well, the very end of the episode, we get Firestorm.
Not Firestorm. We get...
Yeah.
That's Firestorm?
That's Firestorm.
Yeah, Firestorm.
Yeah.
It was her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
they show her looking at the picture...
Oh,
and then they show him, and he's in the alleyway.
I couldn't really tell who it was. So
yeah, that's Firestorm. Yeah,
nice.
For a second, I was like, "Oh, is that like Heatwave?"
Yeah,
and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, Heatwave's gonna have the gun. Oh, it's clearly Firestorm." Because then his head catches on fire and everything. I'm like, ah. So
but there was the other tie-in with Arrow.
What's that?
Oh,
at Jitters,
the baby
Connor.
Oh yeah, so that's the girl?
That's the girl that got paid off.
Yeah, that got paid off.
Yeah,
because she calls to check in, and that's Connor.
Yeah, well, it's a kid. I mean, we don't know what to deal with that. I had completely forgotten about that. That was from season 2, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I had completely forgot about it. I'm like, why is he talking to this? Oh,
yeah, I totally forgot about that. So I'm curious if they're going to bring that back.
Did we say spoilers before this?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And then the Arrow episode, the second part, so Barry comes to help out with... actually, another part that I really liked about both of them, actually, but mostly the Flash episode, was Caitlin and Felicity. Mm-hmm. Like, their little, like, buddy... They're like, oh, we can help each other out. Like, they're, like, the two scientists, so they're, like, helping each other out and everything. I really like their relationship. I want them to, like, be in more episodes together, because they play off each other really well. Yeah, I really like what they do there. But then in Arrow, we get Boomer. We get Captain Boomerang. Yeah. And that was good. He's, you never know how they're going to play off Captain Boomerang. They did a good job with those boomerangs. Yeah. That was vicious. That was good. And, they're like, boomerangs? Oh, fuck, he just killed like 9 people. Okay, I guess he's really dangerous. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good episode.
And I like the fact that it wasn't a Barry arrived there, it was sort of we're going to bring in, wow, my brain just spaced on their names. Cisco and Caitlin to town to sort of like go, well, you visited our city, so we're going to visit you. And then, of course...
Hey, they wanted to see the Arrow Cave.
Exactly. And that was
pretty funny, too.
I like that.
Yeah. Stop calling it that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see if we get a Flash suit in the background of Arrow shows.
Yeah.
Right, just sitting in the case. Like, you occasionally get a shot of it.
Oh, yeah, because at the end of the episode, he basically gives Barry a little case in the Arrow cave.
It's the suit holder.
Yeah, it's the little mannequin, and he's like, yeah, next time you're in town, this is for you. So.
And they said they were going to put one in Flashes, so...
Yeah. Man... I want them to cross. I mean, I don't want it to do every episode, but
no, I think if
given the ratings they pulled in from doing this
twice a season,
it's gonna.
I mean, I want the show to stand on its own as much as possible, but you could do it twice a season, and I would be so happy.
I agree with you twice a season, but I do think, and I've talked about this at length, but I'm going to go there again. I like the fact that you can have Felicity on an episode of Flash. I like the fact that you can connect these. I like the fact you can connect these two shows very well through other characters. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always have to be Arrow on Flash and Flash on Arrow. I like the fact that you can...
The characters are interchangeable.
Intermix the characters, so you can even intermix the bad guys and character devices and all that. I'm all for that.
And, that makes me even more excited for Supergirl and Teen Titans and the other shows, because they've said, hey, we're on different networks, but there's been multiple talks of them like, we want to play ball and we cross over if we can. So I
as long as everybody's playing ball, I will be super happy.
Yeah. Actually, this is a good time to jump to another little segment here, although I did want to talk about something else. But Jeff Johns earlier today, I think it was maybe Sunday night, so yesterday, did reply to someone, this comes from comicbook.com, that they are shooting the Teen Titans, the Nightwing / Teen Titans live action pilot next year. So this stuff's happening really soon, which means by next fall, you could have Supergirl and Nightwing /
pretty soon.
I guess it's Titans. I mean, I'm just going to call it Titans because I'm assuming at this point they're just going to call it
pretty
Titans.
Soon we're just going to have to watch shows in the store.
We're just going to watch shows everywhere. Well, because today they also announced for Sci-Fi that David Goyer is developing a Superman origin story, basically their version of Gotham, called Krypton. Early days of Krypton. This says something was about Superman's grandfather, Jor-El's father. So we could still have Jor-El in the show in some fashion.
Is that I-L?
Yeah.
I don't actually know what. I mean, I'm sure they've talked about in the comics his father, but I don't. If they've mentioned his name before, I don't know what it is.
But I mean, in general, I think Sci-Fi is a perfect fit, and I think this is almost a perfect example of a show where you don't have to worry so much about sort of the Superman mythology. I mean, yes, you can work in Brainiac. Brainiac is completely fair game. Zod is completely fair game. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff there you can bring in.
I mean,
if it's the grandfather, no.
Zod. If they want to play Zod up as a little bit older than Jor-El, I wouldn't mind, but he's supposed to be roughly the same age.
And I'm not saying Zod specifically, but as you expect, there's probably going to be a kid Jor-El out there or a young man Jor-El out there. So I'm expecting there's going to be a young man Zod out there with his own family tree and probably a very similar.
If they make it look at least a partially like Man of Steel, Krypton, it'll be awesome.
And then it probably wouldn't be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. No,
well, look at Defiance. Defiance has a pretty alien look to it.
I'm not saying that they can't do a nice alien look, but I don't see them flying around on I don't know. There's just a lot of aspects
not the same level of effects.
No, not the same level. But
I expect it to be a little bit more of a grounded city and stuff like that.
I would love so Sci-Fi runs a lot of shows from space, the Canadian channel that does a lot of more than half the shit I watch in Sci-Fi comes from space. I would love for Sci-Fi and space to make something because I think they have a better production and better staff.
So one of the things that I think made Farscape work so well when Sci-Fi was making that show is it wasn't produced solely by Sci-Fi. Like they had a whole conglomeration. They had like money coming in from overseas and everything else, and that's how that show was funded to make it the way it was. If they could,
they're raking in the dough from Sharknado, man. They can fork out a little bit for Krypton.
Yeah. So if they put together the right production crew and everything, they could do a pretty good budget actually for this show.
Yeah. Obviously Nightwing, the rumor for the Nightwing show, Titan show, I guess, is Nightwing, Starfire, and Raven kind of being like the main cast.
Man, I hope they don't sexualize Starfire.
Hey. I'm sure they will a bit. I mean, it's TV.
Hey, we could get Voodoo in it.
I don't want that. Voodoo in the Teen Titans? That'd be kind of weird.
Any event.
But,
I'm just curious what network this one's going to land on. I mean, that for me is where all this kind
Titans?
Yeah.
It's TNT.
TNT.
I think is it TNT or TBS? TNT. Yeah, no, TNT. Yeah, they announced that. They announced that a while ago.
Nice.
Yeah. They're trying to spread out to as many kind of things as they can. So
I always consider the network for what they will do with the tone of the show.
Yeah. And TNT, they do, what's that sci-fi show that's on TNT?
Fallen Skies,
which look I haven't seen, but
I haven't seen
people,
it either.
I know fans. People say it looks pretty good. People say it's pretty good. So they're willing to do something that's a little bit out there and get on this fucking DC money boat because even Constantine, which haven't had the best live ratings, actually have pretty decent non-live ratings.
Yeah.
Flash and Arrow have blown away fucking everything that CW's ever done. Gotham is really strong, and did you guys watch the Gotham finale?
Yeah.
The mid-season, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk about that briefly, too, because we didn't talk about the other week, but another show that is just running at some crazy pace, and they're not fucking around at all. The fact that, so spoilers, obviously, so he's out as GCPD and already in Arkham by, like, the mid-season of Season 1, like, is this some sort of reaction to Lost and Smallville and other shows that just kind of like take a long time to start? Are they like, nope, because if we only do one season, we just want it to be the best season it possibly can? I mean, is that what this is? Because they are hauling ass on Gotham.
Yeah.
But I think that
I love it.
I think that taking Gordon out of the GCPD and putting him in Arkham, I mean, is opens up a ton more easy access to characters that we can
villains and everything.
We'll see down the road.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I don't want him to be gone. I mean, I only want him in there for half a season. I want him back in GCPD by the end of the season.
I don't think he's going to even be there in the back half of the season. I think they're going to resolve that within the first couple episodes back.
But I mean,
and they're just going to do I've been here for 2 months when they come back already. So,
but the thing with Gordon is I think it adds to his character because I mean, having him having him come into to Gotham and be the detective and. It's not really, he doesn't feel grounded, but now that they're taking him out of that element and putting him in something else that's Gotham-esque, he's going to have knowledge of the asylum more so than anybody else will.
Which they could play up later when it goes to hell or people start breaking out or they start putting the crazies in. The real crazies, the costume crazies. So, yeah, man.
But Penguin's
so good. Penguin, man. That guy, I want that guy to win awards. He is so good.
Yeah.
He really is. I'm not going to say the show wouldn't be worth watching if it wasn't for him, but he is so much of that show. And what they're building it with Riddler too, I want Riddler to not really do anything this season and then just have him be the villain next season. And then I like this formula of having maybe a character in the background that becomes the villain the following season.
Yeah.
So Harvey Dent could be a big part. If they make him Two-Face, I don't care. Just do whatever. Whatever seems cool, do it. Because I'd love to see Two-Face, just going up against Gordon.
Well, I think
people get so mad when they take stuff that's so different from the comics. At this point, I don't care as long as it's good. I'm fine.
I think that for Gotham, I mean, they're doing a really good job of going quickly.
Yeah.
In getting to things, but I think that they understand that there is a plethora of things that they can do.
Yeah.
Before even an ounce of acid would hit Harvey Dent's face.
Well, they had the female Copperhead, that episode where Bruce and Selina are getting away from the assassins. That was the female Copperhead. Yeah. Which a lot of people are wondering, are they League of Assassins? Like who were they working for? And that was a great episode, and I was worried, a lot of kids, but I really like Selina. She's really cool. Bruce is awesome. Alfred kicked ass in the finale.
Yes.
Oh, man. Alfred was kicking ass. He was I didn't like him in the first episode or two, but he was just kind of a jerk. That's the Alfred I want. I want this like James Bond Alfred that we got in the last episode there. Yeah. And then... what's her face?
And they've done a good job of teasing that through the season.
Sure.
There's been a few times when he's manhandling detectives or whatnot because he's not aware they're detectives.
Right. But then same with Poison Ivy, little Ivy Pepper. She was like weird as hell, but it really worked. Yeah. I was like very strange.
Yeah, Selena's like just go.
Yeah,
go back.
But I like that. That was really cool. So
well, it's like to me when I was watching that scene. Where they were in the runaway mall or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they called it, but
the underground.
The underground mall or something.
Yeah.
Even though they're kids, like the future versions of these people kind of came out where it was, it's like Bruce is there. And it's Batman is there, Catwoman's right next to him, and Poison Ivy's right there. But you have just who they're going to become is like oozing out of them. So Ivy's like very kind of
she's a little crazy.
She's a little crazy, but she's a little attached to Bruce. Like she gets a little like, oh, this is him.
Yeah.
Like there's a like,
and Selina's like I'm here for me. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. Like, I'm not sticking around. She's too smart for her own good. Kind of one of those things. So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one other big news thing. I got a couple questions to read. And sorry for going through some of this stuff pretty quick. We've obviously a lot to talk about this week. And, of course, we'll have nothing to talk about next week. But Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and Sam Catlin's adaptation of Garth Ennis's and Steve Dillon's acclaimed Vertigo series Preacher, according to Comic Resources and Variety, it's a pilot order on AMC. So official that they have ordered the full pilot.
Oh, I can't wait.
So they are now in pre-production, like legit pre-production on Preacher.
Well, for the pilot, not necessarily the whole show.
For the pilot, but they picked it. It's one of the only pilots AMC picked up after they reportedly saw a string of pitches, and it is one of the few they picked up. So obviously.
I will be completely happy for the day when I watch the Walking Dead season finale, and then a few weeks later I see the season premiere of Preacher.
I want them on the same night back to back.
Same night back to back.
Then you have.
Shit.
So what do you have? You have.
That's like Preacher at
you have
8 o'clock.
You have Talking Dead and what's a Preacher talking
sermons?
Maybe. How do you do Talking Preacher? There's got to be a joke here somewhere. We'll come up with it after
the sermon.
After we finish it up. No, it has to be the talking because it was like Talking Bad, Talking Dead. There's got to be.
Well, that's because all those words ended in ing.
Yeah, I know. There's got to be something. Anyway, no, I don't. They'll stretch it out, but so they're off each other. But no, I want Preacher and Walking Dead back to back so badly.
I will take back to back.
No, and Preacher would be 10 o'clock. Preacher would be after Walking Dead in a heartbeat because Walking Dead
Talking Dead.
Well, no, after Walking. Well, maybe Walking Dead is bad because it's violent and gory as hell. Preacher has a lot of religious stuff in it, and I could see them pushing that back to later in the night just to be like, well, we kind of want to avoid.
That's what we do in the comic
don't worry.
store.
Everybody's going to
hate it,
get up in arms about it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is in the comic book store, anytime people ask for any recommendation, I go, well, what's Preacher? I'm like, are you religious?
Yeah.
That's the first question I ask.
And I've talked with people about this before. I actually think Preacher is not in any way anti-religious. I think the goal of Jesse Custer is
to punch God in the face.
Well, no. He is trying to find God because he's really mad at him because God has abandoned humanity. And I would think that anyone that's religious that literally knows God has left and is not protected and not there for humanity, I don't think you'd do the same thing or want to punch him in the face, like you said. But I think at the end of the day, this is a story about a guy who is very religious trying to find God. I think they obviously go about it in crazy ways with the 2,000-year-old inbred line of Jesus descendants and and sheep fucking and all sorts of horrible stuff and the vampires and the meat man and this horrible
and to top it all off, the voice of God.
And the voice of God. A horrible, amazing...
Wait, we forgot Arseface.
And Arseface, of course. But amazing stuff in the show.
I know Mitchell, our listener Mitchell, who always tweets some questions. Yeah. I got him hooked. He's a Preacher fanatic.
Humperdinky Doo.
And he cannot... he is excited for it, but he's most excited to see Saint of Killers.
Oh, yeah. Saint of Killers is so good. I'm so excited for Preacher. I really
I hope they do a mini-series for him.
Yeah, a little like Better Call Saul type of
Better Call Killers.
Better Call Saint Killers. Yeah, a little mid-season origin or something.
Yeah.
All right, that has been so much stuff. We
don't need to talk Walking Dead because we talked about last.
Yeah, we already talked Walking Dead. We can go on and on and on about this stuff forever. But let me see. I think I had a couple questions here.
Let's get some questions. Come on. Patreon, Twitter, let's go.
I had a few here. Let me see. Let me grab them here. I should have had this up here. Challenge us, you said?
Challenge accepted.
This is a comment from Matt on Patreon.
Comment or question?
I kept getting I got a ton of comments. This is weird, but
you're really bad at this.
No. I'm having the same thing. Well, anyway, he says, oh, here it is. Hey guys, sorry, I had to pull up the right thing. It says, hey guys, I recently read the second issue of Black Science. I really enjoyed it. I'm planning to catch up and add it to my weekly pull list. I was wondering if any of you are reading it and what your guys' thoughts are. So, any of you guys caught up on Black Science? I read the first few.
I'm caught up for the most part.
You guys like it?
It's good.
Yeah.
I like a lot of what they've done with the characters and stuff. It's, I want to say it's floundering around a little bit right now, but it's good. It kind of had a very good, concise first story arc that was really, really good. And I haven't really got a sense of what this new story arc is yet. So
it's,
a Rick Remender comic for Image.
It's definitely. I've read. I'm still reading it. It's not something that I'm every time I see a new copy, I'm I'm not. Oh, I have to read that. It doesn't grab me like that. But it's okay for the most part from what I've read. It's definitely a lot better than his Deadly Class or Low. But I think Remender's spread exceedingly thin right now when it comes to his writing duties. Mm-hmm. And so, Black Science is probably one of the better ones. Yeah. But, it's not something that I'm screaming, hey, you should really check this out. But it's okay.
Yeah. Quick question here from Raymond on Twitter. He says,
Does everybody love you, Raymond?
He might. They might. He says, what's the big deal with the first appearance of characters? The big deal is it's the first appearance of a character. That you answered your own question.
Is he trying to get the first appearance of Suicide Squad?
Maybe. We talked about this occasionally recently, but if you look at back issue prices these days, it's first appearances. It used to be number ones. People love number ones, but they never retained any value. No one ever cared long term. Now it's totally about first appearance of characters, which is legitimately what it should be.
And to some extent, second appearances of characters.
Sometimes it used to be. The first appearance characters were number ones, hence number ones were always worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it is these days.
No, because I think Harvey Bullock was in Batman, or was it Detective?
I think it was Detective, but but most characters do not first appear in a number one. Obviously the traditional Marvel and DC characters, not even the DC characters. Now, very few DC characters first
Spider-Man was Amazing Fantasy.
Right. Most Marvel characters.
And Hulk was Tales of Suspense.
Hulk was Hulk number one.
Yeah.
Hulk was Hulk number one.
Was Hulk number one? I thought it was...
Tales of Astonish was Thor.
I think you're thinking Wolverine.
And Ant-Man. Wolverine's first appearance was Incredible Hulk 181.
Yeah.
So a lot of characters for Marvel, more of them appeal. First appearance of the Avengers is Avengers. First appearance of X-Men is X-Men, number one. First appearance of Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four, number one. So Marvel, more of their characters first appeared at number ones. DC, very few characters appeared at number ones first. Almost none, really. So, first appearance is for characters' first appearance. That's what people want.
Well, I mean, with the Suicide Squad in Legend, so that's issue, 3? Or is it? Yeah, it's issue 3.
Yeah.
And then the Amanda Waller's issue 1 of that series.
Yeah. I don't know. I get the first appearance thing is a big deal, but a lot of, for me, tends to be what appearance do I feel really defined this character for me? And that tends to be where I'm a little more gung-ho.
Stefano on Twitter here.
What's up, Stefano?
He says, any updates or comments concerning the year end for Comic Conspiracy 2014?
We're closing up shop. We're done. We're out of here. I'm out.
Podcast-wise, I can tell you this. We're going to have a regular episode next week. And then the 2 weeks following, the 22nd and 29th, I haven't decided the order in which we're going to do them yet, but one is going to be our end-of-year best of personal lists of comics, graphic novels, collections, comic-related shit. And then the other one will be TV shows and movies. Obviously, comic-related kind of initial lists. Expect to hear probably a lot of the same stuff because there's not that many yet.
No, that's 2015, 2016.
But also just general geek culture, movies, stuff we're looking forward to for 2015. So that way, look for that. Store-wise, pretty much regular hours. The 24th and the 31st, which are Wednesdays, will be open. Closing early, don't know what time. Closed the 25th, open the 1st. So we'll be here. It's been a good year in general. The end of last year was a little it's not doing so hot, but this year is, it picked back up. March, April, it picked back up a lot, and this year has been really solid. I actually should have had this. Maybe I can do this out for next week and talk more about it. But there was a couple articles come out that said, comic industry every year has been better than the past, and then this year is nothing. Our numbers end of the year, a little personal talk here, but our numbers end of this year are going to be a little less than last year. Last year was really good for us, but still good. I mean, most years are higher than 06, 07, 08, 09. 2011 was a big jump, and 12 a little down, 2013 way up, 2014 a little down, but not bad.
You're staying within a decent range. It's not like it's falling off in and a
lot of it has to do with if we have sales or if we do big stuff. There's a lot of other stuff around it.
Well, I mean, this year, you also have to contribute. 2013 was another boost of Walking Dead. Because they were doing the compendiums, and stuff like that.
They're always, last year and this year, and I'll do our top 100 trades. I'll probably read the top 10 on the store as well. Yeah, it's going to be Saga 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be our top 3 right there. Maybe something else will sneak in there somewhere, but it's going to be Saga 1, 2, and 3.
That hardcover, I need to get it.
Yeah,
even though it's got a baby sucking titty on the front, dude, I will face out that on my collection. I don't care. I want people to double take when they look at that thing.
And he had one other question. He says, as a retailer, what are the misconceptions you see readers have about the comic industry?
That we make money?
Or are there misconceptions? Yeah, sure. I get that a lot. People, this is just random people walking in, but they're like, do you guys make money here? I get that so often. It's so annoying. Yes, we make money. I wouldn't be here if we didn't make money. But I think one of the misconceptions is, and and I tell people this all the time, stores can't afford to order everything, especially if it doesn't sell. If you like a book, pre-order it, buy it from a store. Don't download it illegally. You can download it illegally if you can't afford it. But if you like a book, you should probably pick it up.
I reiterate this on my pull list. It's there's only so much material that we can get. I don't take everything.
But if you really like it, with books being $4 or $5 now, it's tougher to keep stock.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books that I only order for subscribers. A whole lot. Yep. More and more. I just cut another publisher completely with this last order. I don't order a single book because we lost our subscribers, and I went 2 months and didn't sell a single shelf copy of the books. So that's it. I'm done. And the problem is, when that happens, I almost never look back because why would I?
Yeah.
I didn't sell it before. Why would I sell it now?
And then the publisher's like, why are you not ordering this book?
I didn't sell it.
Because I'm not selling it.
Yeah, if you like books, and you want to see him tell the guy, hey, you're not getting this book anymore. Can I order? Can I subscribe to it? I'll prepay for it. I'll pre-order for it. Because, if you don't see it, we're not Target. We're not Walmart. We're not Best Buy. There's not 1,000 of us around.
You can go to different comic book stores and they have a different selection of the same type of books. Like, right. I mean, I go over to Elusive, on some, Wednesdays or something or Thursdays, and I look through their wall. I'm like, what the fuck is that book? Like, because I've never seen it in our store because it's some random publisher.
And then I get the opposite as well. I get people coming in and I'm like, oh my God, I've looked at this book in 6 stores and no one's got it. I'm like, oh, I got like 20 of them left. Like Death of Wolverine's been like that. Like I see people come in all the time and we have all of them except for number 2. We're almost out of 4. But people are like, I've gone to like 9 stores here in San Francisco. No one's got it. I mean, stores are going to be like that. It's different. Every store is totally different. So, subscribe, pre-order, put your money where your mouth is. If you really like the book, pick it up because,
Yeah, I mean, like a prime example is that Wolf Moon Vertigo book that came out. Number 1, I think you ordered a little bit. It's a number 1, so you gave it a little bit of.
I'll always order extra number 1s. Sure.
I checked it out. I read it. It's not bad. I enjoyed it. Am I going to see issue 2? Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's. I understand people are. Books are more expensive now, but
sure.
You don't need to. If you don't like something, don't commit to it.
Yeah.
But if you want something, then you should voice your opinion and say, hey. Yeah. Any more questions? Do we have any Twitter questions?
Those all last ones were all Twitter questions. Okay. Yeah. I think we're done.
You sure?
Yeah, we're done. We're running along. Thank you guys for being here. Like I said earlier, we powered through a lot of shit. So we'll obviously have more to say about all this stuff, especially the movie and TV stuff. That's going to go forever. I'm sure we're not going to get too much more comic news or big movie news before the end of the year, but maybe it'll surprise us when we do those best of nights. If something big happens, obviously we'll talk. Otherwise, probably a couple quiet weeks through Christmas. So,
this year's? I mean, books are still on Wednesdays this year.
Yep, always Wednesdays.
So it's not
unless Christmas Day is on a Wednesday. Books are on Wednesdays, and even then, they'd be on Wednesdays if we wanted to stay open. So. Yeah. That's their own call. So no more delays.
Man, that sucks for the people that get it delivered on Wednesday.
Do they still do that sort of like only one thing shipping?
So there's only a couple things shipping New Year's. So that week, we are actually going to have a sale here basically from Friday, the day after Christmas, through that Wednesday, through the 31st. It's not going to be the biggest sale we've ever had, but kind of end-of-the-year clearance and a bunch of stuff. We're going to blow out some specific items.
You know what the sale is? You didn't get shit you wanted for Christmas.
Yes,
come down and buy it yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody understands how to buy for people like us.
Because of post-Christmas and the weather and everything, like we're not going to do the outside stuff, but the deals in everything in the store is going to be pretty normal to what a lot of our sales have been before. A lot of big discounts on back issues. We're going to actually have some pretty aggressive discounts on trade paperbacks and the current issues, so stuff that's been out the last 6 months to a year or so. Just because end of year inventory, I'd rather it go than have to pay taxes on it. So we got to move some extra crap. So and actually, as always, as I've done the last couple of years, will be a big purge of trade paperbacks. We've already done the used trades, which are going to get a big discount for that week as well. So a lot of those used trades will be. I think we're going to do like a buy one get one free or buy two get one free. I'm not sure what we're doing on that yet because I got to move some of those used trades, but we did donate a bunch of those, so a bunch of those are gone. Sorry if you didn't get it, they're gone. Same with the regular trades. Like I know a bunch of them that they've been sitting around a little too long. We haven't sold, so if there's something you've been eyeballing but haven't picked up yet, you may want to come get it because it may be gone. So. And occasionally when I do that, I find books are actually out of print and worth a shitload of money on Amazon. So if you want to get the books cheap, you may want to come and look before I do that. Otherwise...
I can attest because I shipped those books that were sold on Amazon out.
Well, occasionally I'll pull like 100 books off the shelf. And like 3 of them are like, oh, this is out of print and like $80 on eBay. Score. So there you go. All right. I should... remember because we've done 187 of these, but if
186.
But if
this is your 187th.
This is our 187th. But I don't.
Technically, it's 188.
But I don't remember how to close up. I don't remember how to close up this podcast unless I open our credit text document here. So it tells me This episode and all our previous episodes are available at geekbox.net and comicsconspiracy.biz.
You should start doing these in like a different voice. Like, just pick like a random accent and go with it.
No.
Because we got 187.
No one wants
you got to liven it up a little bit.
No.
Or maybe let Charlie do it once.
How about you stop talking? I do this as fast as possible so I can go sit in traffic for
I'm
3 hours to get home.
trying to help you avoid the traffic.
So why don't you discuss what accent I should talk the end of next credit episode on?
Maybe we can make it a Patreon goal.
When you go to forums at geekbox.net and the Facebook group for the Geekbox, which I think is facebook.com/groups/geekbox. I think. Something like that. Just search Geekbox.
You need to put
find
it in that text document.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Thank you very much for our overwhelming, I don't think our biggest month ever. I think Black Friday beat it last year. But very close to our best month ever digitally. Yeah, so thank you everyone that buys on there.
Do we even know if we're still like one of the best sellers, digital sellers?
The answer is always yes.
I hope
to
so.
a question
I hope so.
like that.
I hope so, but I have no idea. Lots of people picking up stuff on Black Friday and Cyber Monday and whatever other nonsense holidays
Isn't
there
it
are.
Green Monday today?
Apparently. So digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, go there. And every time I say this, people don't realize it. Yes, you can subscribe on there. You click one button, you subscribe. You never have to go back to the site again. You will always have that book, that series you subscribe to. Digitally, first thing Wednesday morning, before I even get up and tell you to go buy it, it's down or it's on your app to download.
It's queued up for you to get.
It's paid and queued.
Yes.
So go on there, get that. Avoid that site if you don't like going on
The
your
only
PC.
time you have to do anything is when your credit card expires.
Yeah. Patreon.com/comic conspiracy. Thank you everyone that backs us on there. You can go on there for as little as $1 a month. You can support this podcast. And we're sending out to our couple of our high tier backers their books for the month of November. So hand selected books from all of us here that we think you guys will enjoy.
Yep.
Brock Scott Conspirator, Brock.com. Omar, who's no longer with us on the podcast. He didn't die. He just moved to Hawaii. It's much better than dying.
I really wanted to like get onto a boat and we all like wave as the boat leaves. And at the side of the boat say Titanic.
But he is at Conspirator. He's at ConspiratorBrock.com. Jesus Christ. He's at comics.
Screw that up.
He is at, well, it's just because of what I'm reading. He's at comicsandthekind.com. So go over there and tell him how much you miss him. The Infinite Long Box podcast and the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. Those are Charlie's podcasts. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension is about Doctor Who. You should go listen to it because everyone loves Doctor Who. Twitter.
Matt Smith guy, right?
I'm Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. Bryce, who should be with us for our next two episodes, I believe at least the next two, if not the next three, is at Larson Bryce. And Omar, once again, is at Comics and Decline. So go say hello to him and tell him you miss him. Listen to Geekbox Comedy Button. Good Job Brain and the All Talk.
Button or Barton?
Barton. Good Job Brain and the All Talk podcast. Those are other podcasts that are on our little Geekbox network. So go listen to them.
And I will be making a guest appearance on another podcast.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be on Heroes and Villains.
On Heroes and Villains,
doing Blue Beetle, right?
Doing Booster Gold.
Or Booster Gold. Sorry.
I'm doing the Booster Gold.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna get my bound copy of Booster Gold out and just hold it while we talk.
Excellent. You should read it as well.
I've read it. It's horrible. It is complete and utter garbage. Like it's not like.
Okay, so what's bound in there?
Read the new one.
It's the old series from the 80s.
Okay.
So
I was about to say the newer series is pretty good.
The first few issues are okay, like the first story arc or two, but then it crosses over with like Invasion.
Sure, read the new one.
Millennium and all that stuff, and it's just bad. And then they didn't know how to finish it, and so it's kind of this sinking ship. But the ones that Jeff Johns did in the pre-52, before the new 52,
and the Dan Jurgens stuff, really good.
And the Dan Jurgens stuff towards the end, amazing. Like I want them to omnibus that whole thing, or at least like two thick.
Well,
trades.
they've gotten to the point of omnibusing anything else that Jeff Johns has done pre-New 52.
No, I want the Dan Jurgens stuff though.
Yeah,
like the.
Well, they're including some non-John stuff in the GSA one, so it wouldn't surprise me.
You should talk about this on the Heroes and Villains podcast.
Man, you really want to sit in traffic, don't you?
No.
It's black. You're going to be part of the black.
We're just
That's
done.
okay. Traffic's not black for me.
It neither is me. I'm like 3 miles away.
We're just done.